Hey guys, and welcome to your Fanboy Update video for the week of October 9th to the 15th. There's a ton of new stuff coming out this week, so let's get right to it. DC is releasing a ton of new second issues for New 52 comic books, including Batgirl, Batman and Robin, Batwoman, Deathstroke, Demon Knights, Green Lantern, Frankenstein Agent of Shade, Grifter, Resurrection Man, and Superboy. Of that list, I've started to read Deathstroke and Grifter, and Deathstroke, I really recommend it. Deathstroke is really cool, and I know that we're just going to get more good issues to come from that series. Grifter, on the other hand, not so much. It's a little weak. I didn't really like the way the character is developing. It's kind of sketchy, and it doesn't really get to the point of who he actually is. I'm probably going to pick up the second issue just to see how his character develops further and what really is going on, because I have no idea. This week for Marvel, you'll be seeing Amazing Spider-Man number 671, Ghost Rider number 4, The Punisher number 4, New Avengers number 17, and the X-Men Legacy number 271. So that's coming out in comic books this week, so let's move into video games. There aren't a whole lot of big titles coming out this week in terms of video games, but there are a couple re-releases, including Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, which is going to be for the PS3, the Xbox 360, and the PC. And what this will have that the first game didn't, it's going to have more weapons, more missions, and a new sandbox mode, which should be really cool because I know that in the Dead Rising series before, killing zombies was more mission-based, but now you can basically roam around the environment and kill as many zombies as you like with a whole new set of weapons, so that should be cool. And this game will also be released for only $40 instead of a $60 retail price. Red Dead Redemption Game of the Year Edition is also coming out this week, and what this is going to be is it's going to be the full game of Red Dead Redemption, as well as the DLC that's been released for it so far, including Undead Nightmare, which is really fun. I love Red Dead Redemption, one of my favorite games of all time, and the Undead Nightmare expansion is also a lot of fun. You'll have hours of fun playing it. If you haven't bought this game yet, I highly recommend you go out and get it, especially with this new DLC. It's going to be fantastic. Totally new titles coming out this week include Forza Motorsports 4 for the Xbox 360 and Ace Combat Assault Horizon for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. So that about wraps it up for video games, so let's move into movie news. There are a lot of big movies coming out this week, the first of which being The Thing, which is rated R. And this movie is starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead, which you may have recognized from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Joel Edgerton, who you probably saw in Warrior, which just came out a couple weeks ago, and Eric Olsen, who, sadly to say, was in the new Dumb and Dumber, which was a huge letdown because the first one was a fantastic movie. Anyway, this movie follows a group of scientists who discovered a creature that was found in a crashed extraterrestrial ship. Now this creature appears to be dead as it is frozen in ice, but as they're experimenting on it, it comes to life and it escapes within this base they're living in. And what happens is this creature basically mimics anything it touches, and as the internet has put it, it pits human against human as it tries to survive and flourish. Now, this movie looks really good. I know I really want to see it, especially because I'm turning 17 on Friday, and so it'll be the first rated R movie that I'm going to go see on my own. Anyway, you guys don't care about that. It is a prelude to John Carpenter's classic from 1982, so that'll kind of explain the background story of how the creature came to be. And it has no ratings yet on Rotten Tomatoes, which kind of worries me because a lot of times the better movies coming out will have early ratings, but I'm still going to see it anyway. Footloose is another big movie coming out this week, which is rated PG-13, and right now it has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie is starring Dennis Quaid, Kenny Wormwald, and Julianne Hough. It kind of looks like a dancing movie, one of those like step-up movies. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it might be good. I'm not a big fan of those dancing movies, so I know I probably won't see it. But if that offends you, I'm sorry. Hopefully, if you're a fan of dance movies, that it'll satisfy you. I don't know. Also coming out this week, we have The Big Year, which is rated PG-13, and that's starring Steve Martin, Jack Black, and Owen Wilson. And it's basically three guys who are kind of at a midlife crisis, and they decide that they want to go do the things that they've always wanted to do in life. They go around the world, they ski, they go see the wonders of the world, they just have a great time. This movie is from the same director as Marley and Me, which if you guys have seen it, you know that it's as a sad ending, so I'm almost expecting a sad ending from this movie. But I mean, it looks good. It doesn't look like it's going to be the best movie ever, but it looks like it could be something that'll be funny, as well as something that you'll enjoy like watching, as it's a bunch of guys going and doing a bunch of cool stuff. So I mean, it looks entertaining. Right now, the movie doesn't have any ratings on Rotten Tomatoes yet, which, I mean, like I said before, that's kind of a worrisome thing because they haven't showed it to any critics, but it could totally do well in the box office even without that. Another movie coming out this week is The Skin I Live In, which is rated R, and right now it has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie is starring Antonio Banderas, Elena Anya, and Marissa Paredes. And if you've seen anything about this movie, it looks really weird from the trailers. Like, it doesn't tell you a lot of what's going on. But when you look into it deeper, it actually sounds pretty cool. It's basically about a plastic surgeon whose wife died in a car crash. And this plastic surgeon is developing a new type of skin, which is basically a shield from every type of assault. And he has some altercations and problems along the way towards achieving this new armored skin type thing. And it looks pretty interesting. I mean, it honestly looks weird. Like, I'm going to say it, but I might see it just because it looks kind of cool. And this looks like one of those movies that could end up doing really well in terms of awards. But it also looks like it could completely flop if it's just completely random. So, one thing I forgot to mention in last week's video that I'm definitely going to keep talking about in future videos is DVD releases. So this week in stores you can expect to see Horrible Bosses, Green Lantern, The Tree of Life, and Zookeeper for any of you cheesy comedy Kevin James fans out there. So another thing I might start talking about here and there is TV news. And this is a big thing right now because I just finished watching the finale to Breaking Bad. And if you don't watch Breaking Bad, it is by far the best show on television. If you don't watch Breaking Bad, you should really get on that. I think they just put up seasons 1 through 3 on Netflix. So if you have Netflix and you haven't watched this show, you should totally check it out. It is by far the best show on television. And Bryan Cranston, who you probably recognize as the dad from Malcolm in the Middle, is probably the best character on TV right now, Walt Whitman. And also this week we have the season premiere of The Walking Dead, which is a TV series that was based off of the graphic novels. I think they've had so many volumes of those it's like impossible to keep track of. But this is the second season of this show, and it should be really good. The first season was good, I loved it. It was really cool to see a zombie TV series kind of thing, and I'm really glad it's coming back. And that's going to be premiering this Sunday on AMC. And Breaking Bad is also on AMC, so they have two really good shows right now. I'm really happy with what they're putting out. Alright guys, so that about wraps it up for news this week. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you want to keep seeing more update videos like this, and we put them out once a week. And if there was anything I missed that I didn't talk about, be sure to remind me of it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to add it in next week's video. In the description, I'll be putting a bunch of links to all the sites I use to find out the news this week. So if you want to go to any of these sites, they'll all be below, and you can find out more information on specific things. Alright, thanks for watching.